Hello, and welcome to the Big Bang Theory podcast. My name's John, here with my friend and colleague Dan.
Hello.
Hello. Something different to say, Dan. Hooray.
Yeah.
City.
Boxing Day.
Boxing Day. Wycombe Wanderers. I'm not going to call them their excellent nickname that the Big Bang came up with yesterday. But a win, 1-0.
1-0 win.
To the red and white.
Yeah.
Very nice.
They always do that. Anytime someone called Wanderers come, and it just makes my skin crawl a bit, that.
Makes me laugh. We don't get many Wanderers.
Bolton.
Oh, yeah.
I was thinking, how many teams are there that play in quarter kits? Is there only two?
Bristol Rovers, Wycombe.
Is there others?
I can't think of any others in the football pyramid.
Me neither. There must be some. Sort of the further down you go.
Further down you go.
Anyway.
It's nice to see. I like it.
Yep.
As in, like, they could definitely change it.
I don't like it. It looks like a rugby kit.
That's true, it does. But they could definitely change it and be all like, oh, it's jazzy, zigzaggy lines, but they've stuck with it. And I do approve of that.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Of course.
David Wheeler.
Yeah. Anonymous David Wheeler.
I don't even remember him touching the ball.
No, he didn't.
He's probably past his best now, isn't he? What a lad, though. Good lad.
Good lad. Nice to see him getting the applause of the Big Bank.
Yeah.
Well, so first of all, it's been 13 games.
The Big Bank. He's walking around the Big Bank, sort of gets subbed off and walks around in front of the Big Bank. Everyone gives him a clap.
Yeah.
He gives the Big Bank a clap. And then they start asking him for a wave. It's like, leave the man alone. He's clapped you already. He's not going to give you a wave. He's not a performing seal.
No. Seals, of course, famously clap, not wave. So he is a performing seal.
All right, he's not a performing monkey.
Fine. Yeah. But
anyway,
let's focus on the positives.
We actually haven't even talked about the Cambridge match yet either, which is from back along.
That was the 22nd, wasn't it? Way at the Abbey.
That
2-0
one
defeat.
went a bit more to the kind of script, didn't it? We lost 2-0, played quite badly. This is the first match I didn't watch, actually. So, you know.
I mean, I
could go on other people's words for it, plus the highlights, really, but it didn't look very good.
It's just the script, isn't it? The old possession plus no penetration.
Toothless, yeah.
Toothless.
Yeah, so Aimson was suspended for that one, was he?
Yes.
The one? Plus Aitchison. No, it's Aitchison that's suspended for that. Anyway. Aimson was on the bench, right? We wasn't suspended for that.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is good research, isn't it? I mean, it's been Christmas, lads. I mean, come on. What do you expect?
I mean, I don't care. I do not care what happened at Cambridge, given the positives from yesterday. And I know it's tenuous, and I know it's clutching
sounds like
straws a bit.
someone's running away with themselves.
I'm not. I just think, like, we've talked enough about 2-0 defeats this season. I'm parking that. It was rubbish. I thought it was the end of him. I thought he loses on Boxing Day, be absolute uproar in front of a big crowd.
Yeah, everyone's parents are there.
Everyone's mums and dads are there. Your mum and dad are there.
Yeah.
My mum got me a home shirt for Christmas.
Oh, yeah?
Rolling back the years. I think the last time she did that was 1992. Thank you, Mum.
You didn't have that already?
Didn't have the new one, no.
Oh, there you go.
No. And I think I said to her in passing, like, that was nice, innit? And I think now, thinking about it, she might have said, maybe someone will get it you for Christmas. And she meant herself. She did that old trick.
Very nice.
She wasn't there, but she was texting me throughout.
Did anyone buy you that new Exeter City bobble hat?
No, I got a red, white and black non-Exeter City bobble hat.
Oh, right. I was thinking, well, because everyone sees you as an Exeter City bobble hat man, that everyone was thinking, I won't buy him that because someone else will be getting him it.
Oh, I'll have to buy it myself.
Same goes for that new minor threat 7-inch. I guess you didn't get that either, right? No.
No, I know.
Everyone's thinking, I can't get him that. I'll have about 5 copies.
No, I'll gladly receive. I'll get myself both of those things in January.
Yeah.
With my £10 I got from Uncle Kevin.
Just in case anyone's wondering, minor threat haven't reformed to
sadly
record new music.
No, they found some old tape, much like City found some old form behind the.
Yeah,
behind
so
the tinsel.
are we just going to talk about Wycombe, are we?
I mean, talk about Cambridge if you want. Lost 2-0, toothless, waste of time. 400 people went up and were disappointed for Christmas.
I think the positives we can this kind of spans over it really, and as bad as that was, Czech Diabate back in the centre of defence.
Love it.
Just that's good, isn't it? That is a positive.
Absolutely. Feels like Gary Caldwell.
Better than him being up front, really. He's sort of
I would
playing better in defence, isn't he?
He's done the old thing where if you throw jigsaw pieces up in the air, some of them may stick together some of the time, and he's finally got there.
That's never going to happen.
Well, felt like it with Gary, didn't it? I mean, honestly, why? But anyway, there he is. He's there, back in the centre, being rock solid. Just what you want from Czech.
Yeah, superb.
And also an academy player. I just don't understand how he's taken this long to get to this conclusion. And it wouldn't surprise me
for
at all.
someone who the board claims buys into the clubs so heavily.
Yeah.
And we saw this yesterday when we scored, and even before it, that Czech is someone who's actually really invested in playing for Exeter City. I'm not suggesting the others aren't, but they literally just can't be as much as somebody like him.
Yeah.
I know you got Hartridge and stuff like that, but he's just not quite the character that Czech is. You mean where he's going to be like, like geeing up the crowd, and then like shoving Sinisalo into the front of the big bank, and making him take his plaudits. But I just think, obviously this kind of like the Czech is more invested in this club than a lot of other people that are there.
Yeah.
Naturally, it's not a criticism of anybody else, but it just makes sense that I know he's not been fit. He's not that Caldwell's just been ignoring him. He hasn't been fit,
Yeah.
So
but then he did do some mad things with him, of course.
Yeah. The putting him up front is a different thing, but so that's a positive, I think. Basically, even in the defeat.
But then yesterday he was there with Aimson and Hartridge, wasn't he?
Yes.
Reece, I can't speak. Reece Cole, captain. Curious.
Yeah.
Sweeney on the bench. Okay. Aimson not on the bench, not captain.
What's
Gary doing with these?
Ultimately, the captain thing is kind of like not that important. That's what everybody says, right? Yeah. It's not important thing. Everyone just kind of takes responsibility anyway, and it doesn't matter who the captain is. But don't Chelsea have like 5 captains or something?
Something like that. Yeah.
Thing. But I just think it's like PR wise, it just looks really strange.
Yeah.
And people are going to ask questions. They're like, well, Aimson came in. Caldwell immediately made him the captain. Like, you're the captain on the pitch.
Yeah.
Then it kind of emerges that Sweeney's sort of still the captain off the pitch. But if Sweeney's playing and Aimson isn't, Sweeney will have the armband. Blah blah blah. And then I think now to just kind of like Aimson gets sent off, then doesn't get back into the side. And then when he does get back into the side, Caldwell's giving it to Reece Cole, who since arriving, Reece Cole has played himself into a first team place and also a new contract.
Yeah,
and I don't have a problem with Cole being the captain. I actually think he's someone that we really should be looking to kind of, not build the team around, but certainly try and utilise
absolutely
as best we can.
He feels a bit like Jake Taylor, doesn't he?
Yeah, but also I feel like he's someone who just kind of has a natural kind of sense of a kind of natural attacking kind of mindset.
Oh, okay.
I mean, he gets the ball, he looks to go forwards, and to try and pick out passes, which he can do, and kind of maybe have a shot, that kind of things. But I just think it is quite. It raises questions, doesn't it?
Yeah. I think Gary's got a lot of questions by his name anyway, and why is he creating another one for himself? Unless it was the old, they really don't like Aimson at the minute, I'm going to give them someone they can get behind.
Yeah, but I think that, again, just looks weird. But maybe, I don't know, maybe that is it.
Anyway.
But Aimson's literally getting kind of booed when his name's read out at the moment,
Yeah.
Which I think he will move past as long as the results come. He played pretty well yesterday on the whole.
Yeah, nearly had a goal.
He did, yeah. Good save,
Yeah. Anyway, so that was the kind of lineup. Sonny Cox obviously starting.
Yeah, that's big. Yeah, and also obviously Rankin's back in there now. He's another player who, at least runs in the direction of the goal.
Yeah.
And
Wildschut
Wildschut
started. Gave us about 8 minutes.
Didn't last very long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, first half.
Sonny Cox,
yeah, that's big. Back from Yeovil, obviously been on the bench last game.
Yeah.
Anyway, game starts, first half, and it was a poor first half, wasn't it? It was really bad. Diabolical on both teams.
Two shit teams playing badly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do think we looked better, actually. Like, but I mean, there was not much in it.
Just.
Yeah.
It was slow.
Yeah.
I think we really kind of lacked any kind of like. We looked completely unmotivated.
Yeah.
Bit of passing it around defenders, back to the keeper. But then more of kind of like, oh, let's try a hoof up the field.
Yeah.
Cox even in that period, did actually show some signs of what we've been looking for, which is half decent hold up play. He looks strong, doesn't he? And we noticed this before he went out on, because he's playing a fair bit at the start of the season, remember? And we were saying he wasn't good enough, which is like, not just us. But, you know, he has looked stronger this season than last couple of years, where he looked a bit lightweight, and he still looks small, but he's got a strong kind of, you know, centre, hasn't he? And,
yeah.
And I think it just shows how much the kind of the Overton window has shifted, that just because somebody did some reasonable hold-up play, it now looks like, oh my God,
they're the saviour.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Look, it's just like, but we've just been playing with people up front who have no idea how to do the kind of centre forward basics.
Yeah.
For a really long time.
Yeah.
So someone comes back in and just does the kind of bare minimum hold-up play. No, I'm not no shade to Sonny Cox. Like, he did it well. And that's impressive, especially as a youngster. But, you know, I was trying not to get too carried away.
Yeah, well, yeah. Well, a 0-0 half-time, wasn't it? And you think, like, this is dire.
Yeah.
It felt like 0-0 had it written all over it. But I got to say, fair play to, I don't know who, the team or Coldwell. There was some positive difference and positive intent in the second half.
Straight away.
Tom Carroll seemed to be much further forward, and which I haven't seen from him at all, running forwards, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Trevitt's obviously out injured.
Yeah, he went off, didn't he, early on in the Cambridge game,
yes.
and then now there's some suggestions that's him out for the season.
Protective boot on his foot, so whether he's broken something.
And apparently, has he gone back to wherever he's come from, Brentford? So that might be it. Might never see him again. Which is a shame.
It's a real shame. Great player. But can't deny he, as good a player as he's been at times, he's not been involved with a good run of form, and maybe this is a useful shake-up. So Tom Carroll was suddenly an attacking midfielder, wasn't he?
The issue with Carroll, again, is just he doesn't do enough. He's not a dynamic player. I mean, he's not a creative player.
No.
I mean, he's just someone there to kind of keep the ball and move it from right to left, and so other people do things. I really just think that he's a kind of victim of being in a team that's not good enough to play the way that, you know, that he would fit. You know, you could probably put him in a Barcelona team and he'd do all right. You know, like I'm not that's a bit. I mean, I'm exaggerating a bit beyond the other way, but it's just. So I think to expect anything more from him rather than just kind of a shuttler is kind of looking for a bit too much.
I think that's true, but I also think yesterday he was obviously trying to do more than shuttle. And second half,
but he can play a pass, you know.
Yeah.
And then he made a couple of them second half. Yeah, second half, just the intent, just the tempo, we just stepped up the tempo.
Yeah, and we were just more intentional about where we were running and where we were passing.
Yeah.
So yeah, Aimson had a shot saved off the line by the keeper, and crumbs, I'm forgetting now. There were a few good. Oh, there was one, wasn't there, right in the box, and how it didn't go in, I don't know.
Hartridge,
that's
keeper
right.
Saved it. Yeah. Yeah, there was, there was some decent attempts at goal. You know, I mean, we weren't. I mean, the intent was the main thing, the kind of the energy increase.
Yeah.
We still weren't kind of creating a huge amount of chances.
No.
Against, let's be honest, incredibly poor Wycombe team.
Yeah.
You know, but we made enough that we did score.
Yeah. So it was.
I honestly forgot. I can't remember the last time there was a. Genuinely can't remember the last time there was a goal like at St James Park.
Felt foreign. I didn't know what to do with myself.
No,
and I don't mean like excited. Like I was almost underwhelmed by like, like as in like what's even. Anyway, that's by the by. Great to see Sonny Cox get the goal.
Yeah. So He did. He was just in the right place, wasn't he,
Yeah.
to tap it in?
Yeah.
Lovely feet from Reece Cole.
Yeah.
Inside the area, past a couple of players.
Yeah.
Keeper saves it.
Yeah.
Aitchison, who again, second half, looked really good.
Yeah.
Showed actually,
What we saw at the beginning of the season.
an intent of, attack. And squares it for Cox, taps it in.
Yeah.
Great.
Everyone goes wild. So that's with about half an hour to go, wasn't it?
Yeah.
25 minutes. And they had some pressure, but they still didn't really look like scoring. They hit the corner of the post and crossbar, didn't they?
Well, yeah, they hit the bar, yeah, and which was, a couple of inches the other way. Could have been a very different story.
James Scott came on, and I want to give him the benefit of the doubt because he tries, doesn't he? He's one of the players that does run and run and run, but he doesn't really seem to know what to do if he gets it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about him. I don't know if it's just if he's just really a player who's lost his kind of way. He does some things okay. He kind of when there's an attack moving, he kind of is there to. Seems to play kind of like one-touch passes a bit and try to move into space and stuff. But it just whatever he does, it doesn't seem to happen for him. Yeah. What becomes of him? I don't know.
No, anyway, we get to 90 minutes and you feel like it could happen.
Yeah, they got a fair bit. The last kind of 10 minutes or whatever, there's they're
definitely
not creating
more
huge chances,
No.
but they are kind of back in it a bit.
The assistant referee puts up the old 6 minutes on the board.
Don't know where you got that from. The physio. I didn't see the physio on the pitch once.
No, there were a couple of substitutions and one goal.
Yeah.
And then they have an attack. They're through towards goal, and Harry Kite, as far as I can tell, puts in a good shoulder charge and wins the ball. Now, I was watching from the Big Bang like you were.
Well, yeah, it looks like even in the replay, you don't see because of the angle of the cameras. You can't really see. It very much just looks like it's shoulder to shoulder, and that Harry Kite cleanly kind of kicks the ball like.
And I've been thinking the ref had a good game at that point, and then he goes and gives a penalty. And you just think, yeah, that's absolutely par for the course. Weren't you thinking, yeah, of course we'll draw this. Of course we will.
Well, yeah.
And, well, lo and behold, Sinisalo in goal, man of the song.
Yeah.
Colwell's claiming it was a great penalty and a great save. I don't think it was a great penalty.
Wrong. It was a poor penalty.
Poor penalty, but...
Sinisalo did well to save it, but essentially he's just guessed the right way. And as long as he did that, he was always going to save it because it wasn't anywhere near in the corner enough. And get the penalty we conceded against Cambridge was so far in the corner. Sinisalo went the right way. There's no way he doesn't save it.
Yeah.
It's right in the corner. If the Wickham player had done that, he would have scored. It was a bad penalty. Colwell's obviously just trying to kind of
I don't think you need to.
It
just I've started to question his judgment a bit. I mean, obviously, because we've lost a million games, but that interview was a bit weird, and I guess he was just kind of giddy from the relief. But there are other ways to.
Well, they are trying the PR. The spin is in full.
Yeah.
Mandleson mode, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
I mean, it was the same after that Stevenage draw, where the week after that. From all angles of the club, it was kind of the agenda was sort of trying to be pushed that this was a great result,
yes, and
that we'd really turned things around,
yes.
Whereas that isn't what happened at all. No. we scored a goal on the break, when Stevenage were half asleep, complacent after being ahead half time and playing against 10 men, and then we dug in really well with 10 men to keep a draw, but that wasn't indicative of anything, which was then then when we lost 2-0 to Cambridge, it just looked silly.
Yeah.
And I think the same thing that they're obviously trying to do that now as well, which is it's understandable that a large proportion or a large number of the who knows what is in terms of percentage, a large number of the fan base very unhappy with the way the board and the manager are behaving.
Yeah.
In relation to football, and they're going on this kind of PR offensive, aren't they?
I just don't. Surely the way to sell it, because it's going to take a lot for me to think, oh, good, this is going to be fine. Now, it may be because this is a poor league this season.
I think that's kind of our only hope, really.
That's our only hope this season. And he'll pick up. It may be he picks up a few more points. What are we on now, 20 or something? And it may be that we get enough to survive, given how poor the rest of the league is. And that's not going to convince me. I dread next season, and I dread him being given this, amazing amount of money that we've never given a manager before, etc., etc. Because I think, no, this isn't the man to do this stuff. So him saying, no, what a fantastic result and what fantastic everything, come on, that's not going to convince me. That just makes me think you don't know what you're talking about. If you say well, it wasn't great, but this is a bit of luck that we need to start turning stuff around.
Yeah,
I'd say yeah, fair enough.
But I would say we don't know what happened at half time. So you could, and we did play better in the second half. So we can give. There's potentially some credit there for him to take.
Yep.
In the way he kind of maybe he might have, maybe it's him changed the approach. I'm sure it was. Do this more. Do you mean kind of thing? And it worked. So that is, tactically a good idea. But like I said, they were absolutely shocking, Wickham. And what we've seen in the things that seem to be kind of the positives from the last few, we picked up 4 points. And from those 4 points, what I'd say is it's team spirit that looks like, and a kind of a good amount of battle that has helped us to achieve that. Diabate, the players do look onside, right? They don't look like they've given up. It's not one of those situations where the players don't look bothered at all.
That's right.
I mean. So that's an argument for, has he lost the dressing room? Yeah, maybe not. Doesn't really look like that. It does look like the team still want to do well, and they're not just doing it for
So sell us that dream, Gary.
So that's a positive. You mean? But tactically, I don't think we can take, even from the Wickham game, I don't think we can really take much from that that's of much encouragement. We've got to play Portsmouth in a couple of days.
Yeah.
And their form has, dropped a bit from that long unbeaten run is over, and they haven't been playing as well, but I'm still, fairly worried about that match.
Absolutely. Yeah, I just don't really. I'm just worried about they're not reading the room. We've said it several times now. It's notice what's going on here. If you can't tell what's going on here, I'm really worried. And I don't just mean in terms of the support base. I mean in terms of what you're seeing on the pitch.
Yeah.
Anyway, more on what's coming up in a second. Welcome back to the Big Bank Theory podcast. Remember, you can email us, bigbankpod@gmail.com, and we're on Twitter @BigBankPod. So, new year, new start, Gary? No. Well, one more game left of 2023. I haven't done the calendar sums yet. I'll do that for the next pod. It's not been a good year.
Okay, well, I don't really like football referred to in terms of the calendar year anyway.
No, I don't really either.
It doesn't make any sense. It's completely...
It is, except that, of course, it strengthens our argument about how poor he's been.
I don't think we need to...
No, fair enough.
I think everybody's fully aware. Well, maybe not everyone, but... Yeah, okay.
Our friend
Let's
Aaron
get the numbers together.
Our friend Aaron was there yesterday. I didn't realise the last game he saw was Ipswich away at the end of last season.
Oof.
All right, so City are in 20th. Directly above the relegation zone. Below us, Reading and Cheltenham are both on 19. We're on 22. Fleetwood on 18 and Carlisle on 17. They're not far behind.
All teams have played all different amounts as well, haven't they?
Yes.
So someone's got a couple of games in hand on us. We've got a game in hand on some other people.
I'm not worried.
That Bristol Rovers game's been rescheduled now, isn't it?
Yes,
for
it
some
has.
Tuesday in Feb.
Yeah, same with Peterborough for January.
Right.
I was previously worried about dropping into the relegation zone. I'm now worried about coming bottom. Genuinely. Because they've all picked up a bit, and we have not.
So have we. We beat Wickham.
Oh, fair enough. So, I don't know what the days of the week are anymore. Friday night coming up, the 29th.
Is it night game, is it?
Night game, yeah.
Oh, I was wondering about that.
7:45.
Right.
Portsmouth at home. Top of the league, Portsmouth. Top of the league with 49 points, Portsmouth. Top of the league with a plus goal difference of 20, Portsmouth. Oh, good.
Top of the league with Jack Sparks at left back,
Yeah.
Portsmouth. However, also, just lost yesterday against
Yes.
King Matt Taylor's. We're not calling him that anymore, are we?
I don't suppose we are.
Not that I ever called him that. Bristol Rovers.
Yeah. Lost away at Bristol Rovers. So that's something, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said earlier on, I am worried about this. They'll be wanting to, after kind of it was a late winner for Bristol Rovers. Portsmouth will be thinking like, come on, let's not drop the ball now.
Yeah, because they've been on this incredible run of form, haven't they? Which has dried up a little bit.
Yeah.
So they'll be thinking now, like, new year, new start.
Yeah. They'll be thinking, Exeter City are absolute shite.
They'll bring they always do, won't they? But it'll be packed away end.
Yep.
Etc.
I'm not sure that Bell man, is he still banned?
Was he banned?
He was definitely banned from Fratton Park for a bit because he was being a sort of going in the women's toilets.
Oh.
Yeah. Don't know why.
Caught short.
Yeah, maybe. Big queue for the men's.
Let's hope so.
I think he was being a freak.
I'm shocked. So, yeah, that's going to be tricky. If we get something from that, I'll think, okay, maybe this is a corner.
Yeah. I think we need to see, yeah.
I mean, ask me at the end of January, Dan, honestly.
I will.
All right, good. Maybe we'll do a podcast about it.
Yeah. Okay.
And then, what's the days? The New Year's Day, which is Monday.
Yes.
Reading away.
Yes.
The Majeski, that one. Now, obviously, they sit below us in the table, but they were deducted 10 points.
Something like that, yeah. They drew at Peterborough yesterday away.
Yeah, they haven't lost in 4.
Yeah.
So
these are 2 very difficult matches, but I think we'll use these 2 teams' status to paper over any of our own cracks, you know. If you're Peter Mandleson in this situation, I'm not sure who Exeter City's Mandleson is.
No.
Who does the PR?
Don't know.
Hawker?
Yeah, let's say it's him.
He doesn't look much like Peter Mandleson.
No, he doesn't.
They will. I mean, I think that you could. If it was me, you'd be thinking, okay, if we're painting Stevenage draw and a win against Wickham as kind of like we're all right, you would obviously use Portsmouth, and if we lose to Portsmouth and Reading, you just go, well, you know, they're both were in the Premier League a few years ago, so what do you expect, kind of thing. We would have lost against them even if we did have a good striker and, you know, any clue of how to play football.
Now, here's the other thing. Are we going to see an announcement about some of these incoming transfers imminently? I mean, I'm doing the air quotes on incoming transfers, by the way.
Well, again, if you're
Mandleson,
Alistair
Campbell,
you want someone to, you know, you want some news to kind of push, don't you? Do you mean? So ideally, you want someone early that you can go, first couple of days of January, you can announce somebody and go, look, we said it was about this. We said we haven't sacked him because we've got to give him some more players.
Yeah.
Here's somebody.
Yeah.
And for their point of view, it's not that simple. They don't want that rattling on through January with no announcements. But you want to get someone early just to kind of like, to placate the baying mob.
You know who's coming to play the week after Reading, don't you?
Who?
Carlisle, bottom of the table.
Okay.
So you can spin whatever you want to spin, but if we don't beat Carlisle at home...
No, that's when it starts getting difficult. Like I said, you can easily kind of spin it for Portsmouth and Reading, but someone bottom of the league.
If we've done a week,
who we've already beaten this season as well, you know.
If you've done a week of the transfer window, and you've then got Carlisle, and you don't get something. I mean, I'm pulling faces, which don't work for the podcast, but it's grim.
You need some serious.
It's grim.
Yeah.
And my concern is, we've said this all along. When's the next opportunity? Like, the January transfer window's finished and we have brought in some old tud from Hendon Athletic. No offence to them or their excellent players. So we got to give them a month to embed
Oh yeah.
You know?
Yeah, totally.
And then what? And then what? And then what? Oh, it's blimmin' March.
Yeah.
And now we're going to sack him.
Well, by the looks of it,
You've
as long
got
as we
8
can get
points.
like the odd crumb of a result from,
Yeah.
from a few places, that'll be enough to kind of keep them. Because bear in mind, yeah, we wouldn't. We refused to sack him even when we were losing every single game.
Yes.
So if we can get the odd, like I said, little morsel here and there, that'll be enough. Along with these kind of new players, for them to go like, no, we're not sacking it. It's all fine.
Yeah.
Give them a bit more time to settle in. Do you know what I mean? Like,
don't get me wrong.
Admiral Musquay will come good in the end. You know?
Don't get me wrong. If we get something from the Portsmouth game and we beat Reading and we beat Carlisle, I'd think, okay, all right, it's not great. I don't think he really knows what he's doing, but that's something.
I'm perfectly willing to kind of like hold my hands up and say, oh look, got him all wrong.
By the way,
he's really good manager. I just don't think now is just because we've won against a really bad team. I don't think now it's gonna go like, oh, sorry, Gary, you are the best. Can I buy you a pint in the Black Horse?
Of course, it's not binary, is it?
Pint of Green King. That's the cheapest. Can I get you one of them? No, he doesn't want that. Okay, what then? I don't know where I'm going.
What a picture! What a picture you painted for us.
Can I shout you a few goes on the fruity?
What's Gary become in this scenario?
Well, I don't know. Person who goes to the pub.
All right, yeah.
Do you want some pork scratchings? Let's have a game of arrows.
It's not double top, Gary. It's not binary, is it? It's what I mean is he might not be the worst manager in the world if he picks up some points. I mean, at the moment, I did some. Before this game
He's officially the worst manager in the world. Is that what we're saying?
What I did was I put in the last 10 games results. This is pre-yesterday, pre-Wickham.
Yeah.
And there were 2 teams.
So you put them into what?
You can search, right, for the top 8. It gets a bit complicated. But basically, including Premier League, EFL, National Leagues, of which there's 3, and Isthmian Leagues, which are all the southern leagues.
Well, will be soon.
6 combined leagues.
Yeah.
There's not an equivalent northern, as far as I could work out.
Okay, you can search that.
You can search that, and there are 2 teams worse than us, but they're both in Isthmian South Central.
Okay.
And they've got 1 point in the last 10 games. So he's very close to being one of the worst managers in Europe.
Okay.
Form-wise, right? So, okay.
I don't know how you brought Europe into this.
I'm just going for it.
Okay.
Or England.
I think we can assume.
Yes, we certainly can. He's picked up 3 points now, okay? So that's pulled him out of that slightly. But that doesn't now mean, he's the perfect manager for us. He's very much not at the moment, I'm firmly of the opinion he is not the manager for us. He may scrape us out of relegation thanks to a good run of results a month ago, at the beginning of the season for a month. But I still don't think he's the manager for us. And my concern is the board have backed him so heavily, the next thing they'll do is go and extend his contract. Because honestly, that feels like that's what they'll...
yeah, you wouldn't put it past them.
I wouldn't put it past them.
No.
What I want now, if he's staying, which it looks like he is, unless they regain their senses, is for him to go fairly soon. As in, like, there's no way of that happening because I can't see any other team picking him up unless we just let his contract run out. And doesn't feel like they're going to do that. It feels like they'll do something daft and go and renew it again.
Yeah, that seems like the more likely thing at the minute, doesn't it? I don't know. I think depends on who we bring in January.
Yeah.
Maybe if we get the right kind of characters in. Like I said earlier, there does seem to be like a bit in the way of kind of team spirit there. I still genuinely believe that we've got a fairly good squad, like lacking in certain areas, sure.
Yeah.
But good players who are capable of not getting relegated from League One. I do think that. I think we're using them in a
weird ways.
In a weird way, which I don't think is particularly conducive to anything. But I do think we've got enough good players in there to do it, and maybe bring in a few more of the right position.
Yeah.
Then, if we're still doing terribly, if they then go, okay, it's the end of February, things are bad, we're bottom of the league, or we're firmly in the relegation zone, there'd still be enough time there and still enough good players that it could change then. And then someone could maybe get us out of that situation, because I don't think the squad is bad enough that it was not salvageable by somebody else. No. However, it will be really annoying if that does happen, because a lot of Exeter City supporters and people, would have been saying that at that point for months.
Yeah.
And if we'd done it, at the end of October, then we might have ended up in that mess we could well be in.
And then you've overpaid for players. You've got yourself in a thing that's really hard to get out of. Blah blah blah. The knock-on effect.
Yeah. Well, you also, whoever you bring in won't be able to bring in any of their own players by this point. That's already true, because he's not going anywhere before January. So, no. If there is a change of management at any point in this season, that new manager won't be able to bring in any players. They'll just have to work with what Caldwell's bought.
Yeah. I do wonder. There's one, I suppose, final thing that might do him is if we get absolutely slaughtered at St James Park, Portsmouth.
Nah, I don't think so. Not given the win yesterday, and not given Portsmouth's kind of reputation.
You can sell it as being inevitable. Well, there we are. We'll be back after the Reading match, won't we? In the new year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So until then, hope you have a nice rest of your holidays and that.
Yeah. What's everyone doing for New Year? Actually, I don't care. Really couldn't just.
If you spot Gary on New Year's Eve, send him home.
Well, he'll be around somewhere, won't he?
He shouldn't be. He should be on his way to Reading.
Oh yeah, no, he won't be out, will he? New Year's Eve.
Better not be. If you spot him on New Year's Day, send him home.
Why is he not allowed out on New Year's Day?
Don't know. Doesn't deserve it. If you get Reading services, the worst of all the services.
Is it particularly bad? No, it's all right, isn't it? Reading?
Horrible car park.
Oh, okay.
What are you doing here?
I can't picture it, but
you've
got a tarnished reputation service station wise.
Because I like Gloucester services.
Yeah.
Well, however you feel about Gloucester services, whether extremely positive or less positive, you
hate it. Yeah.
Reading is not good.
Okay. Oh, I know which one Reading is, isn't it? It's the one you go to. It's the one we always stop at when we go to Wembley.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's got bad memories, but it's bad anyway.
Yeah, it is bad.
Gloucester services could almost soothe my battered soul after Wembley, but Reading's not doing that. No. Obviously, it would make you crosser.
It would. Yeah.
Imagine how cross you'd be. We'd just beaten 3-0 at Wembley, and you turn up and you see Paul Jones having a burrito. You'd be enraged.
Where's he having a burrito?
Gloucester services.
He wouldn't be having it.
He's buying himself
like fennel sausage or something.
Imagine how cross you'd be. Anyway.
I'd be pleased to see Paul Jones.
Yeah, fair enough. Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll be back in the new year. Hope you all have a good rest of your holidays. My name's John. I'm here with my friend and colleague Dan.
Cheers.
See you soon.